Breaking news, a very, very interesting development here. Conor Benn has actually relinquished his British boxing license as allegations of misconduct are upheld. The British Boxing Board of Control put out the following statement, quote, Conor Benn was called by the board of the British Boxing Board of Control to attend a hearing to deal with allegations of misconduct pursuant to Rule 25.1.1. The hearing took place on the 21st of October 2022. On the morning of the hearing, Mr. Benn voluntarily relinquished his license with the British Boxing Board of Control. In accordance with its rules and regulations, the board determined the allegations following the hearing at which Mr. Benn was legally represented. The allegations of misconduct against Mr. Benn were upheld. So, what is going on here? Why did Conor Benn relinquish his license? Was it to try and preempt a suspension? Because from a PR perspective, it's better if you relinquish your license voluntarily instead of being suspended, of being stripped of your license. Was it some other legal issue whereby if he gives up his license, the British board or UKAD or whoever are maybe not fully able to investigate him because he's no longer a license holder, or they're not able to fully sanction him because he's not a license holder? For example, when David Haye and Derek Chisora had that brawl at the Klitschko press conference in Germany, Derek Chisora had a British Boxing Board of Control license at the time and was subsequently suspended. But David Haye didn't have a British Boxing Board of Control license because it had expired. He hadn't fought for a long time. And therefore, he wasn't suspended. You can't sanction a guy who doesn't actually hold a license with you. You see? So maybe that is the reason that Conor Benn decided to relinquish his license ahead of that particular hearing. Because maybe from advice from his lawyers or whatever, they told him, you know what, give up the license, then they won't be able to do X, Y, Z. I don't know. I'm just floating ideas out there. Okay, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. We've heard from Eddie Hearn non-stop since this scandal broke a couple of days before the fight with Eubank Jr. was supposed to go ahead. We've heard that Conor Benn's cleared to fight. He constantly uses this phrase, cleared to fight. Yeah, cleared to fight where? When the British Boxing Board of Control refused to sanction one of your bouts, to me that seems like a roundabout way of suspending you. Maybe there are certain legalities that mean they can't suspend him directly, but they've done it in a roundabout way. That's my way of looking at it. So I never bought this idea that he was clear to fight. Eddie Hearn's trying to make him look like he's been exonerated when he actually hasn't. Cleared to fight. I mean, Jarrell Miller, he's still saying it now, by the way, in Eddie Hearn's latest interview. This one right here, he's saying that Conor Benn right now could fight in many or most countries around the world. Yeah, Jarrell Miller could have fought in many or most countries around the world when he was suspended. So what the hell does that mean, Eddie? The guy's just talking rubbish. Yeah, Conor Benn right now can't fight in the UK. He doesn't have a British Boxing Board of Control license. And I'd like answers from Eddie Hearn as to why Conor Benn has done this. I think we'd all like answers regarding that. Does this convince you? And I know many of you believe that Conor Benn knowingly took a banned substance. And does this convince you that you are right all along in this regard? Maybe there are other people out there who think that, maybe Conor Benn unknowingly took the substance, etc., etc. In the interest of fairness, as I've said earlier on, whenever somebody tests positive for a banned substance, particularly if it's the first time that it's happened, I at least want to hear what they have to say before I come out with whatever I think is the case. I at least want to give them a chance to explain themselves. And it would take quite an explanation from Conor Benn for all the doubts to be erased in my mind. Does he have such an explanation? We will see. Eddie Hearn has once again promised a statement from Conor Benn, I think this week or next week, either in video form or written form or both. He's been saying this for a while now and we haven't yet got it. Will this be more hollow words from Eddie Hearn, or will we actually hear something from the Benn camp over the next few days? Now, obviously, in these legal situations, people are limited in terms of the information they can reveal until the situation is resolved. And sometimes there's information they can never reveal, even after it's resolved. I mean, we never really heard from what I can remember, a full explanation regarding the Dylan White adverse finding, failed test, whatever you feel comfortable calling it. We never really got a full explanation about what that was all about. And interestingly enough, with Dylan White, he never relinquished his British license. So what's the difference between the Dylan White situation and the Conor Benn situation? Is it just that Eddie Hearn was in a stronger position back then with the boxing establishment? Or is it that the Conor Benn situation is actually more serious and more difficult to defend? Again, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below about this latest news. Conor Benn relinquishes his British license. Let me know, people.